Hello and welcome to Jojo's Big Frank and Beans, Central Virginia's sci-fi and pop culture comic book shop chat. I am one of your hosts, Big, and directly in front of me,
it's Bean.
and
You know who that is?
you're
That's
Bean?
Bean. And Frank.
And Frank. What up, guys?
Oh, not much.
Not much.
Anything crazy going on recently? I mean, it's been about a week since I've seen you.
Nothing crazy, I don't think.
No crazy car stories. You didn't run anybody off the road,
Oh
or
my God.
oh, I shouldn't have brought it up.
Jeez, I forgot about that. So we agreed to be here at 8 o'clock. And you said you were going to be here at like 7:30. So I set an alarm for 6 o'clock. I was gonna leave the house at 6. That didn't happen. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So I said 6:30.
Hit the snooze.
This was no. Before I even went to sleep, I decided 6 wasn't going to cut it. So 6:30, I was going to leave the house at 6:30. That way it gave me an hour to get here. 7:30 would have been fine. So I'm getting ready. I went and got gas this morning, like at 8 o'clock this morning. I went and did my Walmart trip, my Home Depot trip, my Hardee's, and then I went to sleep for a few hours. I got up, got ready, left the house. I had already got gas, didn't even have to do that. I am just past Fort Eustis Boulevard, and my 6:30 alarm goes off. I needed to leave the house. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm already on the road. I mean,
It's very responsible of you.
I mean, I'm almost to the interstate, but I wasn't going to take the interstate because it was, that time where the traffic is going to be horrible. So I took the back roads. And for some reason, I guess Williamsburg breeds stupid people.
That's where I live.
You don't live in Williamsburg.
You weren't bred there.
No, I was not. But I mean,
You're like New Kentmore. Like you're up Toano.
Toano.
Like, you're not.
Man, I can throw a rock at the Williamsburg sign.
Well, thank God you weren't on that side of the fucking rock
We might have to
throwing.
banish you now.
Because if you threw a rock, you'd hit yourself with it. Because people are fucking retards. So, I'm on Rochambeau, and last time I came up here and took the back roads, I had missed my right-hand turn. But if you stay on Rochambeau, it takes you to the same place, right? Well, I was planning on going that way. I wasn't going to take the right-hand turn when it told me to turn. But on this road, there was this asshole in a convertible Audi, I think. And on a 55-mile-an-hour road, he decides 40 is all he's doing.
That's not appropriate.
Way. No, and the shitty little car that I'm in, it can't go around. So I think a lot of the road rage comes from the car not being able to do. If I was in your car, Benz, or on my motorcycle, it wouldn't be an issue. I could just zip around them. No problem.
I feel like you
no
had
road rage.
a lot of road rage when you were driving the Camaro back in the day, too.
Well, yeah. You're right. But I was young back then. Wait, I think it's gotten worse. Anyway. Shut up, Big. So, I end up making the right-hand turn just to avoid this guy being in front of me any longer. So I turn right, and it goes over a little overpass, and then that turns to the left, and I turn left, and when I turn left, I see that there's this piece of shit little 1984 Toyota Corolla, and it's got handicap tags on it, and I can see gray hair through the back window, and I'm like, oh no.
What are these indicators of? You gave us a bunch of signs, but you didn't.
I think Santa Claus was in the car. It must have been Santa.
And Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. So they decided that 20 55 miles an hour was as fast as they were going to go in a 55. So it was only 5 or 6 miles of that, though. So I got here at 8.
Oh man.
Well, no, a little earlier. It was 7:57 when I got here.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I left the house at approximately 6:15.
Oh man.
I got here at fucking 8.
That's crazy.
That is a long time for that short drive.
It should be an hour. Maybe an hour and 10 minutes max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Well, we're glad that you made it
Me
safe
too.
and sound. Although
I'm glad I don't have a gun because I would have shot 3 people today.
you can shoot some old people in a car.
Oh, yes.
Oh man. Well.
And I would have cussed them while doing it.
Okay, the road rage has definitely hit the peak.
Well, why don't we get right into it?
Well, Ben, what do you have anything? Have you been?
No, I don't
No?
really have anything.
You didn't want to shoot anybody this week?
I honestly can't say that I didn't want to shoot
Okay,
anybody.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
But that was a loaded question because you know me too well. You
I
knew
know.
I wasn't going to get through like 5 minutes without wanting to shoot somebody.
Yep.
So you must have something you wanted to share.
No, I mean, it kind of hit me this weekend that work can really take a toll on you mentally. Like work has just been out of control. Like I hired some people, work kind of came down a little bit. Now it's just business is booming after COVID, and like it is definitely taken like a mental toll out of me. And I don't want to call out a specific example or anything like that, but that has basically been my life, is like stressed out from work and then like my body just shutting down at the end of the day. I'm just like done for.
That's me for the last 3 to 4 years.
And so anybody out there, well, including Ben, that can feel my pain, I feel sorry for you. Hopefully things get better for everybody, stress level wise, and yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Soon everybody's going to have plants. Stress levels will come down.
Because weed is legal now to grow.
Yes.
Well, so just not on that side note, but people are quitting their jobs constantly these days, and they're not being able to retain associates. And I'm like, man, I was like, I kind of get it now. Like, people are just quitting their job and they're just like forgetting it. They're like, I'm just not doing this anymore. I guess it's because it's been so stressful. I mean, I'm not quitting mine. They'd have to fire me first. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. Let's move to the
Big time.
to the big time.
That's right. We want to get our news. We know it's big time.
So, actually, Ben, you brought this up. Richard Donner died, and I didn't see how he died. Did you see?
He was 80-some years old.
Oh, well,
That's how.
well, I thought
Somebody shot him.
that's what I was going to say. I thought it was maybe Mikey driving past him.
I want to say it was heart failure. I'm not sure on that. But yeah, he was in his 80s.
Oh man. And honestly, I knew the name, but I looked it up, and he did so much. I mean, he did the 1978 Superman, The Omen, Scrooged. I mean, The Goonies. I mean, come on now. I mean, you're a legend. He didn't even have to do the rest. The Lethal Weapon series, Maverick. I mean, he did so much. So I hate to start on a sad topic, but yeah, news for everybody. Richard's gone.
Yeah, he did a lot of television too. Like if you look at his early career, he was directing all the hit television shows before he even got to movies.
Huh.
Man, his name was Dick Donner. I just realized that. That is horrible.
Back then it wasn't. I mean, the dude's 80-some years old. Like, came from, like, the 30s and 40s and crap. So, like, Dick was a common name.
Dick Van Dyke, Dick Vitale. Anyways, moving
Dick
on.
Nixon. It's a terrible name too.
Dick Nixon.
That
Now-
sounds like a disease of some kind. I've got the Dick Nixon. I got the Nixon.
And the normal Dick, but now
I got the
Dick
Nixon. I got the Dick Nixon.
Oh my gosh! Now I know why he went by Richard when he ran. He didn't want to. He didn't want people to think that.
I guess
it was like a plague.
Donner's not any better. I know I got the Dick Donner.
Got the Dick Donner.
All right. Well,
And we're sorry for your passing. God,
so true. We should not be laughing at any of these people, but man.
it's hilarious.
Anyways, moving on. So it's Free Comic Book Day, August 14th. I didn't even realize this was a thing. And like all comic book stores actually do this, right?
Yeah, every and the publishers, they'll put out special books for the day that are free. You know,
That's-
so there'll be probably 5 or 6 books that are free that you can go and just get free books.
That's awesome. They're not going to be worth anything
And
10 down.
and
10
they're
years down the
they're
road.
never very good. Although I will say, I really enjoy the series Firepower. It's a Robert Kirkman series, and I think it was last year, maybe the year before, on Free Comic Book Day. Firepower number 1 or number 0, the first Firepower was on Free Comic Book Day.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you've been buying it since?
Yep, I bought it ever since.
So
Excellent.
they've been doing this for a long time. They've
Oh,
been,
yeah.
Because I think it's called like Max Zero on Free Comic Book Day, and this was, oh my gosh, it's been out forever. They've been doing this for a long time. It was either Free Comic Book Day or they were just giving out free comic books. But I still have it. I actually saw it the other day. I was digging through my my old stuff, my old cards and comics.
It was probably Free Comic Book Day. Normally places just don't give away stuff.
Not for free.
Yeah. They don't stay in business long if they do.
They do a bunch of like sales and deals on that day too. So they get
Yeah.
you in the door with the free comics, and then they're like, boom, 20% off.
So
whatever.
So the store I go to, they're doing a 20% off sale
Nice.
on every. I think it's on everything but the new releases.
Which one is that for anybody local?
Third Eye and Mechanicsville, but the sale is at all their locations.
Oh wow, cool. And other comic news. So Roanoke is doing a comic book convention, August 7th and 8th. Roanoke's not too far away. The Big Lick Comic Con. That's kind of an odd name.
It's run by Dick Nixon. The Big Lick, run by Dick.
So they've got some a bunch of special guests. Phil Ortiz,
He doesn't seem amused.
which I'm not trying to have the podcast be
Trying to get down this run. There's a lot of stuff on here. We keep talking about Dick Nixon. Sorry.
Phil Ortiz, which he actually did a bunch of the Simpson. He drew a bunch of the Simpsons. Michael Golden and Sam
Did he
Della Rosa.
Draw it, or was he a voice actor?
Oh, I'm sorry. He was a voice actor.
Okay, that's what I thought he.
But he he did actually do some drawing in like newspaper comics and things like that.
Oh.
That's what the article said that I read. So yeah, if you're in the Roanoke area or you want to drive out there, Ben, you said you might go to that, right?
I am definitely going. I already asked for the Friday before and the Monday after off from work.
You're gonna
and
get
so
comic wasted.
I am gonna enjoy a Comic-Con
Nice.
since we haven't had any in a long time.
No, it's been a while. Speaking of Comic-Cons, San Diego, the big one, the big whammy Comic-Con is July 23rd and 25th. So
Couple weeks then.
yeah, they decided back in March that they were going to do it virtually. So they probably could do it live now, but they already have everything set up. So actually, like 2 days ahead of time, they're doing like lineup events, pre-events or whatever, and you can check it all out on YouTube. So it's Comic-Con International, and I mean they have so many special guests, and they're doing comic book readings and things like that. So you don't even have to leave your house.
And you can go to San Diego.
Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah, virtually, I guess.
To me, on something like that, virtual, that's a joke.
Well, I would want to buy things.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing. So I don't know how they're going to tie that in. Maybe they'll have links to specials or something underneath.
It would be cool if they did like you could click on like whatever booth you wanted to look at, and they had like a person there that would like introduce you, like, and show you around it, like what they had. And if you liked the crap, you could be like, hey, I want that. And you could just pick it out.
Yeah.
You could do something like that. Like each booth could set up like a virtual shopping experience.
So my company tried that for a convention, and it didn't go over real well. Like, it was just like, it was like a bunch of different rooms, and people would jump in, and they would jump in at the wrong time or a bad time. It was like a virtual booth, and it was just like of course you're going to repeat yourself at one of these booths or whatever, but it was just discombobulated. Like, it was just off, and they didn't get much participation because of it. You know, you're sitting there telling somebody about something, and then somebody else jumps into the booth, and then either they...
I was thinking it would be more like a pre-recorded thing that each person would start and
that's a good idea.
go through it, not like a thing that's just ongoing.
Maybe you should work for my company and tell them the right way to do it.
I mean, unless you got like a guy standing there waiting like for every person to log in, like, I don't know, you'd have to employ like half of the 11-year-olds in India to do that, though. Welcome to Ferguson. Ferguson. We sell plumbing things.
I think what they were trying
to
get at is like the interaction. Like they're trying to get, hey, we're doing promos, we're doing ask questions, what do you do?
And that would have worked if they would have maybe set up times, like specific times, like every 30 minutes or something it starts, or something, like not just, all right, we have this, check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they did it. Maybe they did do it that way and it still failed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't participate. I just heard about it.
I feel like CVS does the same crap like that. They try something new, but they don't really know what they're doing, and it fails. I don't know. But anyway.
So next in the news, so Kevin Feige, is it Feige? Feige. I've been saying it wrong for freaking years, and then so he's come out and he's like, I'm not doing any more of these long-term contracts. So like Samuel L. Jackson, he signed a contract for like 9 shows.
That's why he's in everything.
Yeah. And I guess Kevin's like, well, we're not doing that anymore. And I started thinking about it. I was like, it's probably cheaper, because when they get down to it and they're going to do a movie and they're, reaching out and trying to cast, if somebody's like, hey, it's $10 million for me, and they're like, the other guy that we want is saying $9 million, either you get down to that or you can just get out of here. And thinking about, like, in Marvel, like, once you get in a spot, like, you could seriously get a lot of movies under your belt and get real popular. So if you don't take that deal,
it's like a sports contract.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing. Like, they sign that contract for 10 years and they can't do anything about it. And then when the 10 years are up, they're super famous, and then you have to pay for them. And that's what they're doing now. They're like, yeah, we're not signing deals anymore. You're going to have to pay.
Yeah, and
free agent.
Apparently they're trying to tie it into, like, hey, we're going to do a roller coaster. We want to use, Thor, like Chris Hemsworth or whatever. So they will pay him to be able to use him for that, versus signing him a contract and saying, all right, we're going to we get to use you for the roller coaster, and then when your contract's up, we're going to have to change the roller coaster or whatever. And I'm just
Right.
using that for an example, amusement park theme thing. So, I mean, it's pretty smart on their end, but that means that we might have a lot of recasting, right? So Samuel L. could come back as somebody
His
else.
character's going to be played by somebody different every time you see
Exactly.
him.
And maybe Samuel.
I'm Nick Fury. Weren't you a woman last week? Yes.
I'm just thinking on the multiverse. I know we're going to get to Loki and everything, but that's where my head's going. So I'm thinking, Samuel L. Jackson and then Patrick Stewart is another one. Just to make them as different as you could possibly be, but still have the bald head.
Yeah. Maybe that's Kevin's whole thing
Warp
is
9, motherfucker.
Maybe that's Kevin's whole thing. He's using the multiverse so he can get different people and get it a little cheaper or whatever. And then the other thing that we had was so Zack Snyder is doing the Rebel Moon. So we were talking about this the other day, and so he pitched this as Star Trek, or it was like
Star
a
Wars.
I'm sorry, Star Wars. Ooh, I probably pissed off a lot of people with that one. So he pitched it as Star Wars, and then I guess he got denied, and then he's finally, a couple years later or whatever, coming back with it, and now it's called Rebel Moon. It's the same exact thing for the most part, but it's not a Star Wars movie.
Right. Same story, but he took out all the references to Star Wars, and now they're gonna make the movie.
Yeah. So I guess they're gonna rename some things for this one, and they're gonna be probably Star Wars like. So
There's nothing wrong with Bantooine.
Nothing at all.
My light raptor.
So something that we were talking about recently. So I guess there was an article about how Captain America wasn't much about America.
Well,
So I don't know who that guy is, but I want to
I don't
call
know
him
who he
out
is
by
either.
name. He didn't put his name on there.
His name is on here. So so this is an article that appeared, on Bleeding Cool News, and it's a garbage website. All of this
Bleeding cool.
yeah.
Okay.
And this guy's a moron. So he writes this article. The name of the article is "Woke Marvel Has Captain America Call USA a Piece of Trash." So I read this headline. I'm like, all right.
Clickbait.
And it worked. It worked on me. I clicked it and I was like, I'm gonna buy that comic. Yeah, Captain America calling America a piece of trash. What it actually says is there's a word bubble, and Captain America is saying, "Well, I say America is nothing without its ideals, its commitment to freedom of all men. America is a piece of trash." So it's not exactly the same thing. And so anyway, his article is all about how Marvel is pushing this liberal agenda and doing whatever this woke thing is and whatever. And then at the very end of the article, he apologizes and says, "Update, apologies. Once again, we mistakenly used something from a Captain America comic published by Marvel from the early 80s. So
The worst part about that is they're like, "Hey, we're sorry, we did it again."
and not even take the article down or anything.
That's what
like,
I was gonna say. Like, just pull it down.
Wow.
So yeah, they're pushing this agenda, but the whole point, the whole thing the article's based on was published in the 80s. Okay.
You know what the moral of that is? We need to get better clickbait titles for our channel.
Then we'll just have people like us calling us idiots.
But that thing probably got like 400,000 views.
Probably did.
So, who cares? That's the algorithm works that way. It doesn't matter what what they get from clicking, just as long as they click.
So apparently our episode, I don't know if y'all have looked, but our episode 31 views, we named it 31 views because we're
Right.
cracking on like 31 flavors. That has over 100 watches. And I was like, man,
Nice.
there's clickbait, but I don't understand how 31 views is a clickbait. I don't know. I got nothing.
Huh.
So I guess we should get to the rundown or to the actual 2 shows. So Loki
There was
episode
2 shows?
5. Well, and Black Widow. I guess that was a movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, phew. I thought I missed something. Okay, good.
But we got Loki up
Good.
first.
Loki episode 5. So what did y'all think? This was crazy. I like this one.
I liked it as well.
I had a feeling that it was going to hit the fan when all the Lokis were together. Like, there's no way that they can work as a team. It cannot happen. There's just too many different people trying to be in charge, and I thought that was great when that part happened. I was like, this is going to be good.
The whole time they've been hinting at what is the common thread, what makes a Loki, and in this episode, one of them does say we survive.
We
or
survive,
something.
yeah. The old man says we survive, and he's like, so we're going to escape out of here? He's like, no, we're not going to escape. So,
Well, they're surviving where they were at. So
yep.
that's legit. So did you hear the we're gonna call him the kid Loki? What his Nexus event was?
I was getting ready
He
to
killed
talk
Thor.
about that.
Yeah, he killed Thor.
How did he do that?
So in that moment, he said that, and the camera panned to Loki and the actual Loki, and look. Did you see the look on his face? He was like, "Holy shit! Like you killed my brother."
I guess he did it the smart way. He did it when Thor was a kid because he's not
There you
as
go.
strong.
Yeah.
Loki's never going to be as strong as Thor, but Thor's weak then, so now's his chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what he did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But my favorite Loki was actually the alligator. The alligator
I knew you were
was
going to say that.
awesome. It was awesome. I mean, even the camera shots of him were really cool. Like, there was something where I guess the original Loki said something wonky, and the alligator was just like it like winked or whatever, and it was like he was rolling his eyes, like you dumbass. Like, that's not the way this works. You don't attack the what was it, the dragon thing, the smoke dragon.
Did y'all see, like, right before they went down into their little hideout, that helicopter, that military helicopter that was
Said
crashed,
Thanos
that
on
said
it.
Thanos on it instead of Stark?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And there was actually the plane that, gosh, it was the Hydra plane that had like the weird propeller that went around it. That was actually they walked past that as well. I don't know if you noticed it.
I didn't. I didn't notice that part.
And then Thor's hammer was buried in the
Yeah.
ground with the lunch trays and
Yeah,
a little
bunch of
tiny
lunch
Thor.
trays, and that was a Loki, wasn't it?
No,
No, it was a
the-
Thor.
Oh, was it a Thor?
And if you, I paused it and looked, it's actually a frog Thor. He was a little
frog.
He was a little frog. Or that's what it looked like as they
That's
were panning
funny.
down. I
See,
was like, man.
I couldn't place that from one of the other movies or
Mhm.
anything like that. So I wonder if that's something that an Easter egg that's been placed for something to come. Since they deal with time travel and
Mhm.
dimensions and everything all the time.
Yeah, and who knows where they are right now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where they really are. I still think Loki's behind it.
So you think
I think Loki's.
Loki's in that castle at the end?
Yes. I don't know why.
I was
just
thinking
think
the
it's
same
still
thing.
Loki, but that's going to be behind it.
It's like, so
don't know.
Loki's always stabbing somebody else in the back. You would be the ultimate Loki if you're stabbing all the rest of the Lokis in
And
the
none
back.
of the other Lokis knew. I don't know.
Everyone
We'll
keeps
see.
saying it's going to be Kang the Conqueror.
Mhm.
That he's going to be the new, Thanos for this group of films.
Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And so something else that I noticed that that was kind of weird. is that the female Loki and the regular Loki were sitting outside and they were talking and kind of getting close, and then Loki asked the female Loki, was she getting cold? And in the original Loki, it looked like he was kind of cold, so he conjured up a blanket. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you are a frost god or frost giant. You don't get cold?
Shouldn't be cold.
I mean, that's what you are. Like, I mean, he's...
That's right. He came from the frost giants, so technically he really shouldn't be cold.
Yeah, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, he's just tricking to get closer to the female Loki or something.
He's trying to get some.
Yeah.
Trying to get some from himself.
Exactly. Exactly. So I was like, man,
Gotta
that's
be really
weird.
clever about this.
What would work on me?
That's funny.
The fight between all the Lokis, like the President Loki, and then all the other Lokis was hilarious though.
Yep.
Because they were all
They all betrayed each other.
exactly.
Immediately.
Right off the bat, like he was like, "You said I'm going to take the throne," like the guy with the hammer, and then he was like, "Well, no, you're not," and then he's like, "I've got the throne," and then all of his crew was like, "No, we got the throne," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is going mutiny all around?"
Man, I just thought of this. Like, okay, so back to the Loki being the bad guy still. When the old man was saying how he became old, you know how he said he did the ultimate illusion and pretended to be like space junk or something floating through space, and then he went to this planet, he said, and then the time the time people caught up with him, and that's when he tried to leave that planet when he got lonely. And then Loki says to Sylvie that I think we're a lot more powerful than we know.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
because, I
remember
mean,
that.
hell, he can float in space. Why can't Loki do that? Loki can't just go up in space and float. So maybe they really are a lot more powerful. I mean, he said he floats in space and he can go down to planets. He said, I went to this planet and stayed there. So he is a lot more powerful than he's been in any of the movies that we've seen. So
And there was
maybe
that scene on that same type of note where he said he couldn't do something, and she said, "Oh, you can do it because I can do it."
yeah, when she was trying to link with the creature, what is that dog wolf cloud
Oh
thing?
Yeah.
Enchant.
She was going to try to enchant, and he was like, I can't do that. And she's like, yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is actually him,
There's only one episode left, so we'll know real soon.
or maybe we won't. Maybe they'll make us wait. That whole episode's going to be them getting to the house or the castle, and that's it.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
See you next season. Let's hope not. But so it's only one episode, huh? One left.
One more. That's it. There's only 6 in the season.
So Mobius.
Mobius.
So went back to the TVA.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
And they never showed him after that, right? He jumps through. And
Right.
He says he's going to tear it down.
Burn
Yeah,
it down.
Burn it down.
Spark.
He said, "Thanks for the spark."
I think they discussed that in the very first episode. I think they talk about that spark to burn like the other departments down. I think they made a reference to burning down the TVA in that episode.
I hope.
I'll have to go back and watch it, but I remember them talking about that. So
I could use a lot more TVA episodes. I mean, like that is that is just a well of stories.
Oh
like
yeah.
they could get a million stories out of that. So I don't want it to be burned down. I want to see some more from it.
right, it is pretty cool.
Ben seems to like the TVA a lot. I
No,
wonder if he's the bad guy.
I'm the guy in the castle.
I liked how the little time thing, the little animation clock
Miss
thing.
Minutes, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Minutes. She was like thinking on her own. Like she was. She kind of knew what the director of the TVA was trying to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe she's controlling that somehow, or
Like Miss Minutes might be behind it.
no, the director chick. might-
Oh, okay, I got you.
yeah, I don't know. Like how was Miss Minutes doing that? Like I don't know. I thought that was just kind of weird for that thing to be thinking on its own. Like we're gonna buy some time here until. Well, I guess it would know that the guys were coming, and that's why it was doing that.
I think Miss Minutes knows
that's-
all.
She knows all.
Mm-hmm. The whole timeline, everything that's going on.
Well, then
It's
the
probably Miss
director
Minutes in
just
that
ask?
castle.
The director could just like ask her, like, "Hey, who's behind it all?" Then Miss Minutes would be like,
It'd be a much shorter show.
"It would."
Yeah,
That
not enough
would have
TVA.
ended like episode 1 or so.
One episode in this season. Kind of a short season.
Hope you liked it.
So something else that I noticed is they had the Sphinx in there, and the Sphinx doesn't have a nose. It's gone, like the one,
I didn't
the
notice
real
that.
life one. But the one in the show had a nose, and I wondered if it got zapped because that wasn't the right timeline. So they were like, this one's got a nose. Gotta go. So they banished it to that.
They pruned the whole pyramid,
Yeah.
the whole frickin' Sphinx.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
Yeah. Thought it was interesting. That thought crossed my mind.
Wish I could have pruned those old people today. Gone.
Oh man.
Need a pruning device.
So moving right along, unless
Moving
you
right
guys,
along.
yeah, you guys had
Superman?
anything else?
No Superman today.
That's next week, right?
Yeah, it is. I think it is back next week.
Good.
But we have Black Widow today.
Yeah. So
2 ways to watch. You can go to the theater, or you can pay $30 and watch it on your TV.
yeah, and I actually got my wife to watch it with me. So we went to see Star Wars in the movie theater when it came out. And, we're in the reclining seats, and she got about 15, 20 minutes into it, and she was out. She actually lasted the whole way through the 2 hour and 15 minutes Black Widow. And the only reason I think she lasted is because, it was like girl power, right? It was like, the man's holding them down, and, the ladies break free, and,
Pretty much.
and it was like girl power all over again. So I think that's why she was intrigued with this one. And of course, she didn't know that going into it, but I think she was on the hook and she watched it. So she thought it was pretty good. What did y'all think?
I thought it was all right.
That's what I thought. I
Think
thought
Should have
it
been
was all right.
should have been called Black Widow's little sister. It was more about her. I think she spoke more.
Little Widow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she spoke more than.
It was the first Marvel movie where I lost my suspension of disbelief. So right off the bat, in the beginning, when Hopper,
Hopper.
David Harbour,
The Red
is-
Guardian.
right? They've established already he has super strength because they showed him flipping that thing over and whatnot. But now they have him on the wing of a small aircraft shooting at people, and he's not exactly a small guy,
He is not.
you know. So yeah, I couldn't process that scene because it was just BS. And then even beyond that, the Taskmaster, I thought the Taskmaster's costume was horrible. I thought that was bad.
The only cool thing it had was like the backpack, like that had the knife.
Yeah.
Like the cool backpack. But yeah, it
And then
was
I thought they
pretty
ruined it
cheesy.
by making that character female as well. It was, you saw it coming. I mean, you knew it was going to come, and then it was just. Yeah, I hate it that much more when you see it coming and you're just like, oh. I mean, come up with something, anything else. when you know that the surprise is coming, it's not a surprise.
So I thought it was a decent movie, but I didn't think it was great. And I couldn't pinpoint it for a while until the very end, and it is exactly what you said. The reason I didn't think it was so great is because I already knew who that was. Like, as soon as I found out the little girl
The
blew up,
backstory. Yep.
I was like, well, damn it. There's no real build-up. I know who it is.
They
And-
haven't even put anybody else in question. Like nobody else. I
Mhm.
mean, who else could it be? Well, there's only been one other person that they've revealed.
I don't
It's not her
think
sister.
Yeah, I just don't think the build-up was enough for me for and you know who the big boss bad guy is. Just the bad people, it just wasn't enough build-up for me to be like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. And then she used a shield, and I'm like, well, she's using Captain America's shield. Okay, well, that's not a new weapon. Like, I've seen that plenty
It
of
had
times.
a different
like,
design on it.
yeah, it's like it was like it had all been done before, and I'm like, thought I was seeing a new movie. I feel like I've seen this already.
I'll tell you also, I had about enough of fake Russian accents about 20 minutes in. I was just like, all right, you guys have got to stop. The only one that was somewhat entertaining was David Harbour, and he was the comic relief, so it was.
Mhm.
That was all right, but and he was the only one in the movie that I was just like, okay, he's pretty entertaining. So yeah, I think I liked it because it's been so long since we actually had a pretty good Marvel movie,
Mhm.
But it definitely it was right up there with Thor: The Dark World, or some of these lesser movies.
So I was racking my brain on where I'd seen David Harbour before, and then it hit me. I was like, that's the sheriff in Stranger Things.
Yeah,
And I'm like, holy crap.
And he's the new Hellboy.
yeah. He is
Oh.
Hellboy.
Yeah.
He was a co-anchor in the Newsroom. He's done a lot of stuff, and he actually, before he got the Stranger Things part, he was actually thinking about quitting acting.
Oh, I'm
Um,
glad he didn't.
yeah,
He's witty and funny. I think he was a little slapstick in this one, but he does a pretty good job in at least Stranger Things, if not other stuff. But yeah, it was kind of cool to connect the two, because in that one he's more of a serious role, a little bit of funny. In this one he was kind of a joke. So it's pretty neat.
yeah. Oh, and then there was another thing I didn't like. I'm only saying the things I don't like. There were things I think I liked about the movie, but
The car chases and the motorcycle
no,
chases.
this is about the car chase. Okay, so there's one car. I don't know that there's a car chase, but the one guy, he shoots something underneath the car, and it bounces up into the undercarriage of the car, and the car explodes, and then ends up on what was behind it, even though it's moving forward. And I was just like, what?
Defied the laws of physics.
What just happened? Because physics doesn't work. You don't. Like, the thing's moving forward, it blows up into the air, and then somehow ended up back here. Did you see that?
Yes, and when it happened, I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I didn't think about it anymore for some reason.
I was gonna
I don't
rewind
know why, but
and look at it later, and then I forgot to do it. And I think it was just by the time that movie was done, I was done with that movie. I mean, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That thing should have been like 1:30. An hour and a half or.
it didn't feel that long to me because I watched 55 minutes of it, and then I went and did some shopping, and then I came back, and then I watched the rest of it. So it didn't feel long at all to me.
So you definitely didn't think it was that good if I got a really good movie on my hands.
I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to be able to leave.
Yeah, but this movie
Yeah.
definitely was not that. Not
I just
for me.
paused it and left. So it'll be there when I get back, or it won't. That'll be fine too. I wouldn't have been upset missing it.
And you got to figure, and this is the real nail in the coffin, I think. So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes of Scarlett Johansson, and you have 3 guys here going, yeah, I just didn't want to watch it.
Again, she's like number 1 on my abduction list. So
in
this movie should have been great for me.
In the end, she gets an airplane, and she's like, "I've got to go
Rescue her friends. That's when she's going
she
to
said-
break.
She said 2 friends, and I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, so this took place
During Civil War.
exactly. So were the 2 friends Steve Rogers and the Falcon, maybe? Because doesn't
I think that's right.
that's what I kind of thought. Like, I don't know. I was loosely putting it together, but because they show up and save, I can't remember, Bucky or whoever.
I think in the Civil War movie they show her rescuing him in that plane. Like, I think they show that specific plane in whichever movie.
Yeah, I think it's Civil War.
I think I remember that, but I didn't really like Civil War at all.
Neither did I.
So
So I was giving them props for the timing that they released it, because COVID was over and people were going back to the movie theater. But I take that back, because I think they should have released it in between movies to kind of break it up a little bit, just because you could, that's the gap in there, right? So instead they release it after the end, and then you got to be like, oh yeah, that's when that movie was supposed to, this is when that took place. Like, I don't know, I just wish they would have, filled the gap with it instead of releasing it. Oh my gosh, was 2 years later? It's been a while. So but at the end, her sister is at her gravesite, and then the Elaine
Contessa. Isn't that her name, Contessa?
no, I had it right. Elaine Bennett.
Elaine, yep.
She is
Offers
saying,
her a job.
yeah, and then shows the little iPad, and it's Barton, Hawkeye.
He's the one responsible for her sister's death.
And that happened on Gormira, I think it was. It was the planet where they were trying to run off in the Infinity Wars, and Black Widow ended up taking the dive and not Hawkeye. So, I mean, technically he didn't kill him, but I thought that was a good spot for a lead-in, because Hawkeye is going to get, I think, his own TV series or movie.
TV show, yeah.
So you're going to see Black Widow's sister again.
In that TV show, yeah.
When I saw that, I thought they were going to give her a show. I didn't know Hawkeye was getting a show. So she's going to be the bad guy in Hawkeye's show.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I would think.
Okay. I didn't know Hawkeye was getting a show.
I think it's a couple of years off.
Yep. So she gets a little break.
Or maybe a year off. I don't know.
Hopefully they signed her contract already.
Maybe in that 2-year break they'll teach her some English. Put her through some enunciation courses and get rid of that great accent that she has.
I'll tell you, I did. I had about enough of that of their accents pretty quickly. Especially hers. Hers was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Does that mean it's over?
We are donezo. Well, split, skedaddle.
Skedaddle. That's what it was, right?
Skedaddle.
Get out
Adios.
from last week.
Adios, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.